If you follow us, then chances are you're into cars, and there's a good number of you that dream of project cars. Whether it's that dusty old FD, a lightly modified daily, or your grandpa's classic, we're here to help. And honestly, I'm not sure what's stopping everybody. It's a lot easier than you think, but there are some critical steps you'll need to planning out that epic car build, whether it's mild or wild. And if you stick around till the very end, we're gonna share our plans for this 2022 BRZ just to help you understand. And we've used this exact template to build cars on our YouTube channel that you may have already seen, but if you haven't, we've used it to build this, and this, and this, and these, and this, and that. Oh, and if you guys want the template that we actually use to build these cars, check out the link down in the description. We're gonna head back by the BRZ, but we'll give you the template because we love you like that. But first off, you're gonna need the car and an end goal to work towards. A few things you're gonna wanna ask yourself are, one, is this my daily driver? If so, then you may need to keep it operable on a regular basis. Long projects like an engine or a transmission swap or restoring a subframe or other complicated jobs may be off the table, and that's really depending on your experience. Next, what's your budget? This is important for, well, obvious reasons. If you don't know what you can spend, then you can't even begin to outline the project. Next, you're gonna need to know your timeline. Budget is important, but also what may be even more important is the timeline. Do you have to get this thing done in a week, or can this be a long-term 5-year build that doesn't really have much rush to it? The longer your timeline is, the longer you're gonna have to put away your pennies and take a slow, gradual step towards that end goal. Lastly is just that, what is the end goal? This is without a doubt the most important thing to think about from the inception of your build. Whether it's a twin turbo time attack build, a drag car, a weekend warrior, or simply a car you just want to take out and have a bit of fun with while you drive it, all of these have different parts, more degrees of research and difficulty to achieve. Now, once you've answered those questions, you can really start to get things going. Now, for our 2022 BRZ build, we wanted an interesting road racing capable car that also looks great for our content. The build's gonna take about 3 months and consume every ounce of our energy and attention. After all, we do actually need to do our jobs, like Max, who you'll see behind me, actually working. Now, the car can be torn apart here as no one's planning to daily the vehicle, and we do want to keep our spend around that $25,000 range for aftermarket parts. Of course, we plan to do the work ourselves and partner with some brands to help keep costs as low as we can to build something really awesome. Now, to start off, the first thing you guys are going to want to do is make a list. Now, I like to use a Google Sheet or Excel and break the car up by category. I like to separate things by engine, electrical, brakes, suspension, fueling, drivetrain, interior, safety, and last but not least, aero and styling. Now, breaking things out like that really helps me think about every aspect of the build. Of course, feel free to change things to your own needs. Now, before you just start dumping bolt-ons into your lists, make sure you understand the platform that you're starting with and ask yourself if the car you have in mind or potentially already own is really the best option for your end goal. Again, we are planning on building our new BRZ, and we already know that these cars are very capable road race chassis with some extra aero. Maybe a little turbo to make it go faster and some extra parts, it should do just fine. Now, research in this phase becomes very, very important. Now, what does the path to your end goal look like? It might be easy, just like jumping online, checking out a few forums, clicking a few buttons, but it could be a pretty serious road ahead of you with your own R&D. Now, we aren't quite sure how we're gonna be tuning the new BRZ with a turbo kit, especially this early in the development, but hopefully that all works out. Now, you gotta know what you're getting into. Other people have likely done your build before you, and you can learn from them. Online in the forums or Facebook groups, you're gonna have a great time just doing the research. Now look at your dream mod list. What comes first? What comes last? Who's doing the work? Where are these parts coming from? Now the next step is to price it out. This is, without a doubt, the emotionally tasking part. You're gonna have a list and a really big number at the bottom. Now go ahead and add another 50% at the top of that, and it's honestly gonna be pretty scary. Never forget that these little things add up. Things like fluid, gaskets, broken sensors, bolts, etc. If you're gonna do the work yourself, make sure you have the right tools and that you actually know how. This is where things may end up becoming complicated. If you don't know how to build an engine, for example, ask for help. Revise your budget. Did you go too far? If so, reel it back in. Maybe if your budget doesn't necessarily align, don't plan that twin turbo time attack build yet. Start smaller if your budget's smaller and slowly work your way up. Figure out which parts will last the longest and stick to those. Speaking of which, stick to the plan. Don't deviate too much. Package bolts, label everything, take pictures of everything going apart so that you can put it back together. Reference the communities you joined in the beginning, and don't be afraid to ask for help or pause your build. Take it slow and don't mess things up in the process, or it will become way more expensive. Honestly, that's the tips on how to build your car. Now to share our plans for this one, first off, we have our major bolt-on. I do have to add that some of these specific brands are not going to be included because we're still outlining some of it. The components of which are what we're going to talk about here, and so if you want to follow around, find out which brands we're actually partnering with on this build, you're going to have to subscribe and stick around to find out exactly who we're working with so you can get the nitty-gritty details. Okay, so with that being said, for our BRZ, bolt-on wise, we're going to be doing an intercooler, radiator, oil cooler, a custom prototype MAPerformance catback that you actually see Max working on now, and last but definitely not least, a prototype that would maybe get put into production turbo kit. We're also going to be working with another turbo brand to get that turbo, but we're also going to be doing something super special for the suspension. I can't tell you exactly what yet, but they are going to be coilovers. However, I can say that we got some awesome parts in this morning from Eibach, and we're going to be upgrading the sway bars. Now we're going to have to upgrade our injectors in regards to the fueling, but we don't have a whole lot outlined for that yet as far as things go for the fuel side of things, just because it hasn't been done yet on this car and we're not really sure what we're going to run into. The car's also going to get a full aero kit from HKS, just like the kit you saw at SEMA. And lastly, we're going to dress things up a little bit with some titanium bolts from Dress Up Bolts. Now, in regards to the wheels, we're going to be running a set of bulk wheels that we really haven't seen anyone run yet, so stay tuned. I can't wait to show you guys those. And lastly, we're going to be upgrading the front seats, getting a new dash, just so we don't have to run gauges, give it a little bit of a cleaner look. And we're also going to be upgrading the steering wheel, just to give the car that complete race car feel. Now to finish things off, we've partnered up with 3M, and we're actually going to be wrapping the car with our signature MAPerformance livery to really make this car turn heads and stop you from scrolling there, so to speak. All in all, this build is going to take us about 3 months, like I had said, so you guys can stick around and follow the build on our YouTube channel. But overall, it's probably going to cost us right around 25 to 30 grand, hopefully on the side of 25 and not the 30, because the marketing spend is going to get a little out of control if every build is 30 grand. But anyways, with that being said, that's going to be the overall plan for this car, is really the turbo time attack inspired build that's still daily drivable and streetable without being overwhelmingly uncomfortable. So again, stick around, make sure you hit that subscribe button, give this video a huge thumbs up if you found it even remotely interesting, and I hope you stick around and stay tuned for our build and have success with yours. Let us know down below if you found this video helpful. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next video. Peace.